two types of centers. One would be a speaker, uh, and the second session is usually a topic of discussion where we just interact with each other. And the phrase that Joe uses is, we're a feel-good group. And we've been in business for since 2017. And we have no fees. We're just like Joe in that we want you to come and enjoy yourself and promote yourself in the field that you're in. And even if you're a senior citizen, you can join us. And I want to add something that I know most of you know me as I'm not necessarily a humble person, but I went to Steve and I said, look, I know been going to you for a while on not we've been going to you with speakers that we think would be a joint session. And I said, I have another. I didn't even give him a chance to answer yes or no, you're annoying us or not annoying us. I said, how about having a couple of DMMs coming on for a speaker? And he goes, yes, I've been trying to do this for 2 or 3 years. So we've all been looking forward to this speaking engagement. So go ahead, take the floor back.
All right, but Joe, would you like to amend Merrill's description of the group?
The only thing I would add is the way I describe attending the group meetings. It's like getting a warm hug.
I've got that phrase burned into my mind. That's why I like it when he says it. And
It's my pleasure.
And now some of the other leadership team that's on the screen is Judy Tiger and Rebecca Kleinman. These are the leaders of the Senior Service Alliance. And then the other individuals that you see on the screen, folks, are daily money managers that are going to be sharing with you what this profession is, how you can access it for yourself, your loved ones, or your families. And I'm thrilled that I get to just sit back and enjoy this discussion the same way everybody else is going to be able to enjoy it in the audience. But with one caveat, again, we love to answer people's questions. So folks, as usual, just type your questions in Q&A or chat, and then at the conclusion of their presentation, we'll be able to address those. So I think we've got all the housekeeping done. Does that sound okay to everybody? All right. Okay, so how about if all of us on SSA and myself, let's duck behind the curtains and we'll let our adult our daily money management team take the stage.
Perfect.
Thanks, Steve. I'm happy to kick it off. I'm Sharon Zissman. I'm happy to be here with Ed and Paul, and we will be discussing what daily money managers do. But we're going to start by talking about the American Association of Daily Money Managers, which is our national organization. And I guess before that, we'll just introduce ourselves. So I am the Director of Business Development and Client Relations at Everyday Money Management. We're a firm of daily money managers here in the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm also president of AADMM. Ed and Paul, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Sure, I'll jump in next. My name is Paul Orsinger. I have been a daily money manager since 2003. A wide variety of clients, busy professionals, but mostly seniors and advanced elderly. Ed?
I am Ed Jackson with Phoenix Consulting. I'm also a daily money manager. I've been one since about 2009. Serve primarily seniors and busy professionals.
And Sharon, I just want to add to let everyone know that we have a local regional group of AADMM besides the national one. And I've known Sharon and Ed and Merrill and a handful, many other daily money managers for over 10, 15 years. We have a great group, very supportive of the work we're doing and the communities we are serving.
Thanks, Paul and Ed. So ADAM is, so what we're going to do is we're going to tell you about what ADAM is, and you'll hear about what ADAM does, what daily money managers do, who we assist, why to choose ADAM members as your daily money manager. So ADAM is a international organization. Mostly we are national, but we support the growth of our industry and we support our members. We provide educational resources to our professionals and in educating the community. We're about 600 members. We have members in 45 states and DC. And as Paul mentioned about our regional groups, we have this regional group in Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia, but we also have 9 other regional groups across the country that are geographically based, plus 2 chapters, one in New York and one in Atlanta. And the regional groups are groups that have commonality because of where you're living. And those groups get together to have speakers and networking opportunities. We also have specialty groups, and those groups are virtual for those who can't attend or don't feel that they want to be able to get to a regional group meeting. Those specialty groups include virtual, fiduciary, high net worth, seniors firms, and new members. And that's a new way that ADAM is supporting our members. So not only can members be together in a regional group, but can be together and share by a specialty. And for our educational resources, we host webinars. So an upcoming webinar, for example, would be on Estate Planning 101, the Afterlife Puzzle. And we also do, we have an annual conference. And at that annual conference, sometimes, well, we've alternated between having it in person and having one virtual. Our last in-person annual conference was this past November in San Antonio. Our next one will be virtual, but after that, we do hope to continue to have annual conferences in person. And those conferences are a great opportunity for daily money managers to get together and network and learn from great speakers. Other ways we support our members is by having forums. Those are different opportunities for people to go online to our website and type in questions, and then you get answers from other members of the association who have different experiences. We also provide a newsletter. We have mentoring opportunities. We have a book club. So lots of opportunities and ways that we support our members and the industry. Anything, Ed or Paul, you want to add on that?
Just to say that it's amazing to be, whether I'm at a conference or throughout the year, those forums, just talking to my peers all over North America, you know, getting feedback, or at least if I'm not even contributing, just reading what the topic is, whether it's on software, whether it's on estate planning, things like that.
We have a large group in this area, and you can always count on getting in touch with somebody if you have an issue or a problem or a question about something. And so it's very helpful. It's been very helpful.
I get a lot of calls from friends, colleagues who say my aging mother, my aging aunt, my neighbor, and then I can immediately have them email us and we can send that out to all our members.
Go to the next slide. So what do ADAM members do? They bring clarity and order to managing personal or business bills, budgets, and records. I would add that many of our members have particular specialties. So some may have a legal background, real estate, banking. I know we've got some, I think we've got some CPAs. So when you're trying to find a DMM, you can pretty much find someone that would fit exactly what you're looking for as well.
So I was just reminded, Karen, in the chat that we do background checks on our members. So
oh yes,
every 2 years you have to undergo a background check, and we'll talk a little bit later also about some of the other ways that we support our members and make sure to, you know, going out to the public that they can have confidence in who they hire if they are a member of ADAM.
Sharon, that's been one of the frankly proudest things I can tell people about my association is back in 2018, the membership voted for the requirement of membership being a background check every 2 years. It really reassures a lot of individuals and families of what we're doing. All right, I'll go into the next slide. How a daily money manager
Sorry.
assists clients. And I've got it in front of me in case there you go.
There we go.
So this, I always like to say, this is the general list of what we do. There's so much more I've done than this on my 23 years of doing this. But essentially, it's bill paying. At the end of the day, we're helping our clients pay bills, the day-to-day banking, the budgeting, the medical claims management and insurance paperwork. Always, not just the financial records organization, but all their records. And as I like to say, helping my clients calm the paper chaos that's in their lives. And of course, income tax records and receipts, the organization of that in preparation for whether it's quarterly or annual filing. We are often, I am the best thing my client CPA has dealt with after years of getting shoe boxes of receipts from their clients.
Right.
That's a slight exaggeration, but that has happened.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. and you know, myself, I'm kind of unique in that I also do, for one client I've been with since I started my business, who's aging in place and has the means to do that, is what I call household management. Taking care of the payroll for the round the clock caregivers, making sure the maintenance and repairs of this large $3 million house is occurring. But I shouldn't say it's just high net worth individuals. I've done that for other clients as well.
Just if you go back for a second, I just wanted to add a couple of comments about how we do some of these things. So with bill paying, we really try to meet our clients where they are. So if they are okay with us going to get passwords and do online access, we can do that, automate their bills. If they are comfortable, if they don't like computers, don't trust the internet and want us to pay by check, we'll sit with them and write the check with them. And the same thing with, handling their papers. If they are okay with us scanning some of their documents and then shredding, that's fine. If they like papers and want us to help file or create a filing system for them, we will do that. However, what they want, however they feel comfortable with, that's where we, typically all the DMMs will, be meeting with their clients in their home. Some clients, are helped remotely, but we're typically in their home, and it allows us to be another set of eye and ears for the family, and we're really trying to, help the clients with their, whatever their comfort level is.
Thank you, Sharon. And to add to that, all of us, I think, in this meeting who work with clients, we strive to we meet our clients where they are, what their needs are, and go from there. And that's building trust, them with us, especially.
And one of the other things that I think a lot of our daily money managers do is we create documents for them that have all of their information in one place. At Everyday Money Management, we call it a whole life list. Others can call it, important information spreadsheet. And that we're documenting who their most important contacts are, a list of their insurance policies, a list of all their assets, liabilities, income, expenses. It is a document that I think most of our daily money managers create that organizes that on paper or digitally what their the client's financial life. So here we're going to talk about who our typical clients are. So as Paul and Ed alluded to, older adults are a population that many daily money managers assist, particularly an individual with cognitive or physical challenges. They could be older adults or younger. It's just those who have difficulty managing their paperwork, their bill pay. They can be forgetful. Busy professionals, they can do this. They just prefer not to. They want to be doing other things with their time. Frequent travelers or individual travelers for extended period of time. If they're away, they want to know that somebody else is looking at their accounts, monitoring, making sure there isn't anything going wrong, like a fraud or scams, making sure their bills get paid. keeping an eye on, I think I know, Paul, you do this, to keep an eye on how, someone's house, rental properties, et cetera. And then small businesses. We also help, people who have, veterans, and those where you might have a spouse who passed away, and then we're helping the person representative or the executive of an estate. So there are various groups of clients that different daily money managers help. They could help a variety of them, or want to concentrate, some might just want to help, high net worth busy professionals. So it really is up to the daily money manager. And when you're, looking for, a daily money manager, if you were interested in having one, you would just want to know what kind of clients they typically serve. When we go to engage with our clients, we are entering into a contract with them. For us, we create a service plan that indicates what kind of tasks we're doing. So the ones that we had just alluded to, whether we're going to be helping them with taxes, bill pay, medical claim, or insurance. We also get a document. We also have them sign a document that allows us to speak to others. So everything we do with our clients is confidential unless they, for us, sign a release of information form. And that lists those people we can talk to. So that will typically list their power of attorney, and it might also list, their CPA if we're helping them with taxes, a care manager if they're having someone help them on the medical side, doing medications, doctor's appointments, that kind of thing, similar to what we do on the financial side. So if we're dealing with them, the care manager, they might be listed. A financial advisor might be listed. We also, a question had come in and asked us to say how we get paid. So daily money managers are typically either paid by the hour or they're paid at a fixed rate. So that's also something that anyone who was engaging a daily money manager should obviously talk to them about.
I'm looking at the chat too. Someone asked to explain our roles within the context of a client's accountant, lawyer, and/or investment managers. I think we did do that, but
I think we just touched on that, but I'll just add what Sharon said. We are the liaison often, if the client wants us to, but every client I've been working with, eventually, I need to talk to their CPA, often with the client, often just mundane, routine stuff that I can contact them. I've been in meetings with the estate attorney, and just to make sure that everything is in order. Usually that's with people who are having a little age-related cognitive decline and they're not sure their memory. So I'm the note taker for that. What was the other one, Ed? Attorneys. Oh, like with my large high net worth client, I've been with her 23 years. I'm never a power of attorney in the traditional sense of medical or financial. That's something I stay away from, that liability, frankly. But in one case, because my client was tired of signing checks because she's 83 and she's really slowing down and other health issues, I became the limited power of attorney just on that bank account. And then I have her longtime financial advisor who sort of oversees, or is my who I work with. I don't work with him, but what I'm trying to say is he's looking over my shoulder on behalf of his client, so that everything, and that's what I wanted, to have that clarity and that transparency. And of course, I keep everything in Quicken, and I have annual and quarterly reports I can go over with the client, and the financial advisor. But I have to contact him when he needs to transfer money into the checking account that I'm writing checks on, so he's monitoring what kind of money spend she's going through. So that's the kind of way, that's been a very close relationship. That isn't with every client, but that's a one way that it happens. Thanks.
And to piggyback on what Paul's just saying, I work with several elder law attorneys, and I've been hired by them to help manage the bill paying aspect too, because also it's cheaper for the client if one of us do it as opposed to an elder law attorney. So we can also, like you said, keep a better eye on things because we're in the weeds there as we're going along with the client, and we can keep them apprised of what's going on. Next slide. Oh, that's me. I'm trying to move the chat out of the way. Why would we choose an AADMM member? It's because we have established credibility within the industry and exhibit a commitment to professionalism. Sharon may know this. I don't know how long AADMM's been in existence. I just know I discovered them around
98.
98. So yeah, as you mentioned before, I think we have several hundred members. It's a robust organization. Like I said, we have the lots of opportunities for education and networking, and you can learn a lot. And like I said, through our certification program, there's a requirement to continue in education events. And as you mentioned before, we have conferences, webinars, and regional group meetings. I think our DMM Northern Virginia group's quite robust. It's probably one of the bigger ones in the country.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah.
All right. So why choose an AADMM member? Well, members like us here have undergone a background check and must adhere to a strict code of ethics and a standards of practice. That's something when I engage a new client and after the initial meeting, and I come back with a letter of engagement, attach that letter of engagement is the code of ethics and our standards of practice. Those are two different documents that I attach. That letter of engagement also says, like Sharon mentioned earlier, what are we doing for you? Now that can be amended and expanded, but I start with a letter of clarity of saying, here's what we're doing. Also, I say what I don't do. I do not give tax advice. I don't give financial advice. I don't give legal advice. And I am in that letter of engagement saying this is what I'm charging per hour, and this is the terms of of how you pay me and things like that. And also confidentiality is covered. My letter is almost 3 pages right now. But AADMM promotes excellence in services through voluntary certification program. And that is the certified daily money manager, which we'll get into later, that emphasizes both experience in the field and the continuing education that one who pursues and maintains a certified daily money manager status. We call that not just a DMM, a CDMM. And that requires, so many hours of continuing education units throughout the year.
I was going to add that I think pretty much all the DMMs that I know will have a complimentary consultation with the prospective client. So sometimes you want to kind of, sort of a meet and greet and see if it's actually a good match. Sometimes different circumstances come about and you're not able to engage because I had a situation, potential client, one of the family members was in charge of the finances, and then there was apparently some issues about potential, I guess, fraud. And then they start talking about possibility of adult protective services, and quite frankly, that's something they'd have to work out before I would engage in that particular situation. So it's kind of good sometimes to just kind of see how the situation's set up and whether or not everybody can work together effectively.
Absolutely.
I was just going to add, just as examples of what kinds of things that we agree to as part of our code of ethics. And, we shall be concerned for our clients' well-being. We'll treat them, our clients and professionals, fairly. We avoid relationships and activities that interfere with our professional judgment or that might create a conflict of interest. Those are kinds of code of ethics that we adhere to. And for our standards of practice, we agree to serve our clients and the public and colleagues with professionalism. We agree to respond to requests timely and in writing if necessary, if needed. We show respect for our clients and others, and we do not practice, as Paul alluded to, any profession that we're not, licensed to practice in.
I'm reading, there's a question in the chat. Do you have expertise dealing with long-term care insurance companies?
So I think I can just mention with questions that come in like that, we typically we do have a referral list of different kinds of professionals who we work with and who we know are experts in areas, whether it's a realtor or in long-term care insurance or someone who knows about Medicare or supplement policies, and we would give out names, 3 referrals sources to anyone who's asking us for assistance. We provide what information we know ourselves, but we're not all experts in those fields, and we prefer to have experts in those fields advise our clients, and so we give out referrals to others.
Yeah, I know I maintain a list of resources for, I like to stay in my lane. So things that I can't handle or not aware of, then I can refer them to someone else.
And Ed, on a long-term care claim, I had a aging client. We initiated that claim, and just like handling some of the medical claims or Medicare claims that Medicare isn't paying or it's out of network, that kind of thing. I've been involved in that. But again, if it's out of my lane, then I refer to more of a professional on that.
Right.
Yeah.
So Judy in the chat was asking whether we can talk about fraud and scams. We do, that is one of the things that we help to try to prevent our clients from becoming scammed or defrauded. And we can do that by reminding them about not giving out their bank account information or social security number or birth date. We can and if they were a victim, we then help them close credit cards and communicating with the bank to close bank accounts and open up new ones. So unfortunately, it is a problem that we see a lot, particularly with seniors. They are very trusting, and they might get if they are on the computer, they might get a link that they click on, and that creates a problem, or they might answer the phone and give out information. And so, there are different tools that we use to try to help them either prevent that or minimize the damage, or then correct the damage if it is done.
We're explaining to people that the IRS will not call you via telephone. Yeah, I've given some presentations on fraud and identity theft in the past. So.
We also can help our clients by putting a credit freeze on their accounts, and that is an easy. It's just a very simple way to prevent someone from opening up a new credit card, for example, in a client's name without them being contacted and having the credit lifted. So a credit freeze is another tool we use, and pulling credit reports. We would do that with our clients, just check and see what information the credit report has on them, and if it's wrong, we can help them correct it.
Right. So AADMM members offer peace of mind by professionally managing your financial responsibilities when you don't have the time or expertise, advocating for your financial welfare. I think we talked about that, especially with the fraud and identity theft, and keeping an eye for things like that. Easing the burden for the sandwich generations, caring for aging parents while raising their own families. I think we run into a lot of those people. And I had a client that lived in Laurel. Her mother was in a assisted living in Baltimore, and she just frankly didn't want to deal with the bill paying and all those matters any longer. So she hired me to do that. So in that case, I actually never met her mother because she was in Baltimore. So I dealt just with her daughter until her mother passed away. But she was very relieved that I was able to assist her in that way.
All right. So AADMM members are relationship builders. AADMM members help you find and coordinate services with other professionals to meet your full range of financial and personal needs, including I've done many accountant and CPA referrals to folks, elder law and estate planning attorneys, financial advisors, geriatric care managers, and social workers. And Sharon, what is the Geriatric Care Manager Association calling themselves?
ALCA?
Yeah, ALCA. Well, they're removing the word geriatric pretty much from their profession.
Yeah, aging life care. as
Yeah,
we
aging life care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, I don't know about Sharon and Ed, but often my clients have their accountants and elder law and advisors. In one case, that my client's accountant retired, and he referred us to someone in the firm, but I suggested she also talk to another person outside of that firm who turned out to be great and has been working with them. I often do referrals mostly for friends and colleagues who just call me up and say, hey, who's on your list of accountant CPAs or elder law attorneys? Or they call me with an issue and they ask me the question. Of course, here's another case. I stay in my lane. I just say, you need to talk to an estate attorney, and here's a couple I know. But yes, that's one of the things we do for our clients.
There's a question in the chat about looks like a budget projection. I did have a client. Sorry, I'm trying to move this around. I had a client that had some health issues, and it, quite frankly, didn't look like they were going to be around very long. And I did a budget projection on how long their finances would last, before they were to pass away. See how much time we may have from a financial standpoint. I think that varies by client. I mean, I think pretty much every daily money manager can do that if they need to. So I know they were real specific there, but it would sort of depend on the situation with your client. Let's see.
Okay, so how do you find a daily money manager? So as I mentioned earlier, we are in 45 states and DC. And if you were to want to find a daily money manager, you can go to the AADMM website and click on a button that's Find a DMM and put in a zip code. And you can put in a number of miles from that zip code that you'd like the search to be, and find a DMM that way. So if you lived in Florida and you wanted to find a DMM, put in a zip code and it will tell you what daily money managers who are members of AADMM who live within a certain range of that zip code, 5 miles, 25 miles, and that's and then you get a list, and then you would be able to contact one. There's on the website. There's often a picture of the daily money manager and a bio. It explains whether or not they're taking new clients and what kind of services they provide. So it's a really great resource to try to find a daily money manager.
Yes, I refer people there a lot. And I think also in the search field, you can use a city and state too, besides zip code. But zip code is preferred because you're going to get closer to where you are.
And as I mentioned, so there are daily money managers who, most daily managers go into their clients' homes, but some do work remotely. So if you do a search and you don't find one, you still may be able to contact a daily money manager and ask them if they can help someone in a place where there might not be one physically, but can be helped remotely.
Yeah.
And again, I think we've mentioned this many times at this point. So again, we're trusted professionals that help basically navigating bills, budgets, and record keeping, and work in concert with CPAs, elder law attorneys, financial advisors. I tell some people, as far as the financial advising part is, I help the client figure out what what's going in, what's coming out, what money they may actually have to invest, if they haven't done so already. But sometimes people just need someone to help them, stay in line as far as managing their money, and from an investment standpoint, when you pass it over to the financial advisors.
I so agree, Ed. Over these years, we've all been working with clients is just bringing that often. It's just bringing them clarity. Like you said, where the money's coming from, where it's going. Some people live in a vagueness around their money, and that's one of the, major benefits we bring to them. And I was going to also say what you're reading on this last slide is the most succinct way to describe what a daily money manager does. But of course, for many of us, including myself, it's bills, budgets, and record keeping and everything from there.
Yeah, exactly.
So much more. Yeah.
So we're happy to answer questions. I see some more in the chat. So one comment was, I see you can act as eyes and ears, and yes, that's very true. A lot of families who hire us, the adult children, they might want to be helping their parents, but they don't live nearby. So it's a comfort for them to have us going in once a week, once every other week. We're another set of eyes and ears, reporting back to the family. We do emails or calls or some kind of note taking after every visit that we then share with those who we are allowed to share with. And often that is, an adult child, a POA, letting them know how the client looked, whether they seem to be cared for, if they have care managers, and just hearing what's going on and seeing the environment that they're in. And so that gives a lot of comfort to family members, particularly who are not nearby, to know that someone like us, an independent, transparent third party, is going in and seeing what's happening with their loved one.
All right. Let's see. I got a few questions in the Q&A section, but one thing that I wanted to reiterate, because I've interviewed many families over my career that have used daily money managers, and one of the things that I've found is that with some daily money managers, there's the obviously the bill paying and keeping things orderly, monitoring, always discovering fraud. It's amazing how many these days, every single money manager I talk to has thwarted fraud for many of their clients. But I remember the first one that I interviewed many years ago. She would go and meet with her client on Wednesday. They would do the bills, but she would schedule all of her doctor's appointments on that Wednesday, and the money manager provided assistance. I know that's not standard practice, but it just seemed wonderful to me. Is that something that money managers regularly do?
I'll answer that, Steve. Certain ones of us will do that.
Yeah.
To certain levels. Sometimes, like with my client, my big client I mentioned, she at her age and her medical conditions, she's going to the doctor every 2-3 weeks. And I will sometimes drive her to her primary care physician because I know her case. I get involved with that. But my assistant who I had to bring in just to take care of all the medical billing and appointments for those said doctors, is the one who primarily does that. You also touched on, what I heard was, in addition to the bill paying and record keeping, they're going to appointments and coordinating medical. And so the answer is, yeah, sometimes we do.
Yeah.
But that's a very clear written out service.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something, when you're interviewing, it's a great interview question. Okay. All right.
I'm just going to add, Steve, that there are some daily money managers, our firm included, that we really like to keep that give that to the care managers and the care.
Right.
Yeah.
That's separate, because we don't have really, honestly, insurance to help on the medical side. So we don't do that. And we're very hesitant to help with medical issues.
Yeah.
And taking them in our car and
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. All right, now this is one of the confusing things. I think sometimes people hear daily money managers and they think financial planners, but I'm going to read this question anyways, because I want to hear how you all would respond to this if you got it from someone. Is, as an example, if somebody has $1 million invested, growing at 8% yearly, and 50,000 in annual expenses that increase by 4%, will they ever run out of money? Okay, so when a client or an individual asks you a question like that, what is usually your response?
Well, I will say, depending on if it's just a general overview, we want to do a back of the envelope number, sure, but that isn't really in my scope of work. That's for a financial advisor.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's usually what I do is I say, let's talk to your financial advisor, because he's handling your investments. I'm not an investment person, you know.
And we'll spell
I,
that out in the letter that
yeah,
engagement letter that we don't
yeah,
offer financial advice.
yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to read that question because I think in my mind, it really clarifies the distinct difference between a financial advisor and a daily money manager. And for those of us that work in businesses, you have your accounting staff and your bookkeeper, and then you might have somebody that manages investments in the organization. And anyways,
Yeah.
I know that's an area of confusion often. Okay, Beth has a question. Does the client have a contract signed at the beginning with a list of specific services, terms, and costs? And then how are you all paid? Is it monthly or hourly?
So yes, we do spell out in our letter of engagement and in a service plan what tasks we're doing, the price, our hourly rate, and we bill by the month. Every month we send out a bill.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. And I know you all were reading some of the questions, but I'm going to kind of go through some of the ones that maybe in chat that haven't been what Renee asks, what is the usual amount? I know it varies all over the country, but is there a range of the rates that daily money managers charge?
If they're brand new and they're starting out and they've gone through our business basics course that Adam does, they could, I mean, that range could be anywhere from 75 to $150 an hour.
Mhm.
It's a broad range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the aging life care managers, this question always comes up, and it can be a function of many things, but what we found is geographically, in a large metro area, the rates are going to be a little bit higher than they would be in like a rural area.
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay. All right. How do you receive? Pankey says, "How do you receive the bills and know who to pay what?" That's a great question. I'm a little bit of inside baseball here because now with online bill paying and all of that, let us know some of the scenarios that you use to identify all this.
Well, a paper bill comes in often to the client's house if we're going to the client's house every week or two. So they set those aside and we open the mail often, or they've opened the mail, depending on their cognitive capabilities or how overwhelmed they are with other things in their life. And so we start building a file of who their vendors are, who we need to pay. We try to set up automatic payments each month. That's our ideal way. And they're involved in this process, so they see that that's what's going out. We're recording that. We're reporting to them, again, usually using Quicken, unless they're a business, and we'll use QuickBooks. Yeah. And so let's say we're someone working remotely, my bookkeeper, who's a former DMM who moved to St. Louis, her clients send her the bills. Okay. Email them, take a picture, scan them, whatever. So she's keeping track of those bills that are coming in, and then she's paying them either through the client's bank bill pay or just using the client's credit card, who she's been given permission for. And again, as was mentioned earlier in our presentation, after that first meeting, besides the letter of engagement, we have a separate attachment of all the accounts and credit cards that we are given permission to use, and that's signed by the client. And then some are added, some are deleted, that document is updated every so often. Sharon, can you add anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean, just other ways we get to pay. It could be an e-bill. So we're looking at a bill might come in through the bank account.
Yeah.
Or that, yeah, taking a picture, sending it to us, obviously through the mail.
Yeah, I mean, the old school way, Steve, is a client will just put all their bills in an envelope and mail them to us, or we pick them up at their house or their senior retirement community, and we take them back home and open them and pay them. And then
Or for some of our clients, they mail it to our office, and we
Yep.
have our admin scans it and lets us know that we have mail in our inbox, and then we look at that.
No, I've had clients, I go to their house, periodically. We go through all the mail, and some of them still do the old school write the checks out. And so I sit with them and we write the checks out. I mail them out and
Yeah,
kind of keep it moving from there.
old school way works.
Out of curiosity, talking about fraud and things of that nature, does a daily money manager ever have access to an individual's email, or is it more just coaching them through how to access their email? Because I could see where requests could come in and things of that nature, and it would be nice to have sort of a protection of an objective third party helping me with that.
You mean to look at the emails where there might be
Yeah.
suspicious scamming or phishing emails?
Yeah, or even like a bill comes in, and I mean, shoot, I know just some of my family members, if I ask them to forward an email to me, it's like, we gotta I gotta be there right with them. That again, I'm not drawing a stereotype on technology, an individual's ability to utilize technology, but I was just kind of thinking about that. It could be kind of helpful to have one of you monitoring my loved one's email just to make sure that all the bills are paid and that they're not being solicited something.
Sure. There's a couple ways. I've had one client who gives me access to their email, and I can see that. And again, this is an elderly client who used to be really sharp on email, and now, as her cognitive decline and what I see as possibly early dementia just starting to come in, when I'm working at her house, she'll call me into her office and say, "Paul, help me with the computer," and she forgot how to open an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about with your family?
Yeah. I
have to
could
be
see
with them.
where, especially if it for some of the remote bills in the online, and I mean, there are some vendors now that don't send paper bills, that it's
No.
more difficult to get a paper bill than it is to get an online.
And I might add, going back to the fraud thing too, is the biggest thing in the last 2 years with this. I'm just going to use my same aging client right now. And that is, she is so used to, so all of us on this meeting have experience with aging folks. They have spent decades thinking they can just step up out of a chair and stand up and forget that they will lose their balance and fall if that's their mobility issue. They also, on using the computer after decades, will click on anything. Or more importantly, and I get these, the bill for the Geek Squad or some antivirus thing saying, "Here's your receipt for $359.
Yeah.
Thank you for the purchase. If you have any questions, here's the phone number." And I've trained my clients and any people who will listen to me that look at the email sender's email address and you'll see it's not coming from Norton Virus. Okay.
Right.
And that's your first giveaway. Then they want you to call but with an aging person who's more isolated than us, they will call because that's what they always did to check out a bill because they owe that money and they want to find out I didn't order this. And of course they're asked for their credit card. Because that's what payment was made because we want to refund you. So we need your credit card number.
Yeah.
That's a constant thing. We could have a whole nother seminar or webinar rather on criminal fraud schemes that are targeting seniors.
Just also
And
on email, we set up email accounts for some of our clients, a Gmail account, so we could get emails for them, for example, the utility bills.
Yes. I thank you, Sharon. I do that with my client where we have a separate shared email. She can log in there, but she doesn't. But it's transparency that she and even her, if need be, her financial advisor can come into that email, and monitor what I'm doing, around these bill paying things that we're doing for her. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, Panka has a question. How does the bank let you create access to the client account to pay bills? Do you all do like a power of financial, any like power of attorney or legal documents for the services that you're offering?
It depends on the bank.
Okay.
Some put up big firewalls. If it's a business account for like my solopreneurs, I can get access as their accountant into their banking. Yeah, it's
So a case by
Sharon,
case.
do you have anything or
Usually,
Ed?
usually we're documenting that our clients are giving us online permission to go online to their account. And we're listing what the account number is and what we can do with that account, whether we can just view it, pay a bill, transfer funds. So we're just very transparent about getting them to give us permission to access their account and what we do with that account.
Right.
Okay.
And often that access is with the adult child who's the POA.
Right.
Yeah. Because
And
he wants to watch what I'm doing.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then someone asks, do you review the individual credit card statements with the client to confirm each charge was proper?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mayawana, I probably mispronounced her name. She says, are there some benchmarks that you use to measure success with your clients?
Mostly anecdotal. I just helped a client who used to be doing all of his own paperwork, gathering all his tax documents. He just was, because of some decline, was not able to do that. I went in to look through his papers, his mail. He had stacks of documents on a dining room table in an office in his kitchen. I organized them, got tax documents together, and I asked him at the end, how do you feel? And he said, elated.
That's great.
I get that response sometimes too, but mostly what it's my tagline in my signature line in my business, which is helping you have the life you want. And people are overwhelmed or they're buried in things. And I get a lot of gratitude from my clients from time to time. I'll just.
The other way to measure success is if you wind up having a to-do list or a task list, and then you go over and you say, here are all the things that we took care of.
Yeah.
If they refer you to other people, because obviously if it didn't work well, they wouldn't do that. I know this time of year is big tax season, and a lot of people have the organizers. I do a lot of help with people with their organizers, and they're elated because they don't want to do that. They don't know where things are. I have to do that this afternoon, as a matter of fact. So they're looking for help in that area, just so they can, like you said, instead of just giving the big shoebox to the CPA to figure it out, then help them do that instead. So it's a lot more organized and gets done more quickly.
Yeah, Ed, I couldn't agree with you more because so many folks who have, advanced degrees, are so busy in their lives,
Mhm.
they look at that tax organizer and it's like 50 pages
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like you're the translator.
Yeah.
So you can we are, we can zero in
Yeah.
because there's so much excess stuff on there. But yet CPAs love those organizers. They're an efficient way to more accurately get your information into their tax prep systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm doing all the work. I mean, I might as well be doing TurboTax if I gotta, take a weekend to get all that information together for the CPA.
It is the
Um,
necessary work we all have to do and
Yeah.
face.
mhm.
Yeah, but I agree it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Um, okay, let's see here. Do do if a client is not a business, do you have the client's username and password to be able to pay the bills online?
Yes, they,
Okay.
As was mentioned earlier, a
Yeah.
signed document
Right.
giving us permission on that,
A lot of times people tune into these a little bit late.
Yeah.
That's
and
all
they
right. No,
might
no.
miss
Or
something.
hey, they didn't hear it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't mind answering that again.
Okay, and then reiterate this. I think we touched on it briefly, but do daily money managers sometimes serve as a client's financial power of attorney?
In some cases,
Yeah.
I've stayed away from it because I don't want to pay more E&O insurance. That's errors and omissions, you know. Also, that's a fiduciary responsibility.
Yes, but Ed does, so please let him answer this.
Oh, Ed?
Oh, I just heard the last part of that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Are you a POA for anyone, Ed?
I'm
Yes.
not currently. I mean, I can serve in that capacity. I don't have anyone that I'm doing that for at the moment.
Yeah, but there are,
Yeah, it is more expensive to do that. You're right.
yeah.
But, yeah, I'm
Well,
available to do it if necessary.
and folks, like on our platform, the topic of solo aging is our number one category. Okay. And this topic, financial and healthcare power of attorney, is probably the number one discussion topic within these solo aging discussions. And it's the most important job, because we are turning over responsibility. And just as many of the daily money managers have cited, uh, uh, what the strategy that I like, if somebody doesn't have, an individual that they in their life that they trust for this responsibility, is spreading it out amongst a variety of professionals. In other words, you may have a fiduciary as your financial power of attorney, but that fiduciary knows that your daily money manager is handling the bills and has got that under order. And you might have a healthcare power of attorney, but they know that you've got an aging life care manager that can make proper decisions on healthcare decisions based
No,
on
they
the
can't.
relationship that you have.
No,
And if you
they can't.
and if you have it
Not
as a
legally.
team,
No,
it doesn't put
they
the burden
can't.
on any one individual.
That's nice, but no.
All right. I muted Judy there. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking at the clock. We're at about an hour. I mean, with some of these senior services discussions, we've gone over an hour. But how about if to our panel members, is there anything that you haven't had the opportunity to share today via your program or your or the questions that we fielded that you'd like to add in? And then also the Senior Services Alliance folks, if you all have any burning questions that haven't been answered that you'd like to jump in on.
Yeah, I just had a brief comment about just the whole relationship there. So just that people understand, we're not trying to take over people's finances. You're just trying to assist. And in some cases, the person they're doing quite well. They just might need a, helping hand. Because the worst thing is to go in and have the person feel like you're taking over their finances. So then you're going to get a lot of animosity that way. And then there's also different situations you got to work with different family members, and that's sort of part of the vetting process between yourself and whoever you're going to be using as a prospective client, because sometimes there's situations that are not ideal for an extra person like a DMM to get involved in. But I try to do the best I can in those situations, and if I can work with them, then I'll certainly try to do that. But we're there to help. We're not there to take over. And if every once in a while you run into a situation and the individual is under the impression that you're just taking over, and so you don't want people to feel like they're losing that financial independence. And obviously, if they've got some sort of cognitive delay or problems, that's a different issue. But just wanted to kind of make that clear.
I'll just elaborate a little bit on that. What I just mentioned, and that is we have a couple of clients who are capable and handling their finances, but they anticipate that that will not be the case, forever. So they want to get a daily money manager basically in their back pocket, knowing what their situation is. And then we only might meet with them every 6 months or even annually to just check in and get updates. But we're not helping them on a routine basis. It's just they want to know that when the time comes, there is somebody there who knows about their finances and can step in.
Love it. Okay, we've got a bunch more. Whenever I say that, it prompts a bunch more questions. So that mission accomplished. Okay. Are daily money managers able to be representative payees for Social Security or auxiliary grant income for clients living in assisted living or nursing home facilities?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to check with your particular daily money manager. I think some people do, some people don't. So
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I love this one. Lou, I'm in the same boat. In fact, my wife took responsibility for bills paying away from me because I like to pay the bills all on the one day. I just like a one-day activity. And he says, our bills are due at all different dates throughout the month. It drives me nuts. How do I manage this? This is whether Lou hires you as a daily money manager or not. I'm curious, how do daily money managers have a strategy on making the bill paying easier?
It's whatever the client needs that we can meet and make sense. And that might be paying them twice a month, 2 different days. It might be 1 month. Depends on what their cash flow is like. And they pay all their bills for the month on one day, or do they need another paycheck to come in, to spread that out? So
really
yeah,
situational. Yeah.
Well, I
it's very
guess
situational.
this is kind of like an inside baseball because you guys are professional bill payers. So in theory, could I communicate with all of my vendors from my mortgage to my credit cards and basically say, hey, look, I would like to pay my bills on the first of every month. Like, is that a possibility? Can an individual coordinate their bill paying to be around a date or a week or a time of the month to make life easier?
You can
I'll
change it
answer.
to the due date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Mhm.
The credit cards for sure. Your mortgage is going to want to definitely stay on the first. You can't move that to the 15th, typically.
Yeah.
Oh, but we could move everything around. So if mortgages would be inflexible, then you could, Lou, I think me and you are going to do a little bit of research this before the next daily money management thing. We can move, we'll call all our vendors and try to get them all on the first of the month or around that time.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, can do that.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think you could get 90% of them all on the
Yeah.
first.
probably.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, Lou. Hope that's something. And hey, look, you can always just hire a daily money manager too.
Well, and remember, when you hire us, we're probably going to put it on auto payment, so he doesn't have to worry about paying them, and they can pay on the regular delivery dates, but maybe tracking those auto payments is important to him, or when they're coming out of the bank.
Yeah.
In those cases, when you have things set on auto pay, you just need to make sure that you have sufficient funds in the bank account to cover them.
Yep.
Oh, and let's see. Somebody was asking how to contact all the panelists. So on the recording link, I'm gonna put all of their contact info, but I just dropped everybody's email into chat for folks. And okay. Okay.
While you're doing that, I just want to add something, Steve, that we touched on a couple minutes ago, which is there are definitely challenging family problems that I've encountered. We all do. I'm sure everybody watching this webinar has in some form or another. And it really, Ed touched on this. It's a matter of whether it's in the initial consult, which I think all of us do at no charge, just to get to know someone, to see if, like Ed said, is it a good match? Is it a good match for me? Can I work with this person? Am I a good match for them? But that's where I've gotten better at asking those questions, because in that initial consult, I'm asking not only what their needs are, but who is the family and friends who are nearby helping or are available to help, and do you get along with them? So in a sense, I have to put on my unlicensed therapist hat, and sort of ask those questions, and again, it's about professional boundaries. It's about just asking. Sometimes I can't tell on that first one, but even on the second or third visit, because in my letter of engagement, there's a thing that says each of us have the ability to terminate this contract with 7 days notice at no cause, and I think that's important. But really, even because so many of us are in this helping profession, the fact is we're going to run into challenging family members. We're going to run into challenging clients who resist wanting to help themselves get better in whatever way they need to get better, financially, medically, and it just comes with the territory. I found I just approach it with an open mind and open heart in working with them, but I can't rescue them or their families. That's
You're
I'm
overly
sure so
sensitive.
many.
It's not the job for you.
What's that?
You're overly sensitive. It's certainly not the job for you.
And I'm sensitive enough. But no, it just comes with it, and I'm sure everybody here has encountered that to some extent.
So I see a question from Judy that was, I think it's Judy, that do you look closely at utility bills to be sure there isn't anything haywire? So yes, and I recalled one of my clients who had a high water bill, and it was either because of running toilet or because they had a problem with their meter. So yes, we do look at utility bills and see if there's something haywire. We ask, we dig further. We find out what it is, maybe because they had filled up a pool, or so the water bill was high, or in one case, my client, which I knew because I helped see saw the bills, put in an electric heated driveway, and so you can imagine how high his Pepco bill was
in the winter.
So looking at them, and we're having discussions about why they might be different than the previous month.
That literally happened to me a couple of months ago, looking at the water bills, and all of a sudden one spiked really high. And it's like, hey, what's going on with this? Found out she had a leak. Wasn't aware of it.
Okay, let's see here. This is kind of interesting. What were, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what were some of your previous professions before you became daily money managers?
I guess I can go first. I've worked in local government and budget and finance for decades. That's what I was doing prior.
I was a banking attorney at the FDIC.
I've been what set me up for this business and took me right to this because I didn't know there's a term called daily money manager. So I was a personal assistant and I came out of being a facilities manager for a big church and K-8 school. And I said, this is what I can do for individuals, especially high net worth individuals. Of course, I've had everybody on the economic spectrum to go this. But prior to that, in marketing, radio, and advertising.
Great. All right. Well, this has been a great discussion, and I think we've opened people's eyes to this profession and hopefully eliminated some of the confusion that often exists, that this is not financial planning. This is a form of money management, which is uber important, whether we are just getting tired of managing our bills and money, perhaps an extended hospital stay, and you come home to this stack of bills and you're going through rehab and not feeling well. You're looking down the future, and none of us have a crystal ball, and concerned if you had cognitive impairment, if you would be making proper decisions. Vision problems are oftentimes can be a driver that makes it difficult to pay and check our bills. And this, I think this is I think for folks that are creating a solo aging plan, that you might not hire a daily money manager today, but having a relationship with a daily money manager and getting to know them and developing that, maybe meeting, once every year or every other year, just to kind of keep things going for the day that it's like, look, I'm done, but you've got them on your shelf, on your team, your solo aging plan. So, anyways, so what do you all think? Senior Service Alliance, can we say that we've come to the end of another successful discussion? Okay, I see people clapping, so that's good. Well, thank you for our panel. Y'all are amazing. And then also thank you to our audience, because without your thought-provoking questions, we wouldn't have gone down some of the rabbit holes we went down today to better understand the profession. So this is great. And I'll get the recording up on proaging.com probably later this afternoon.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for hosting.
Thanks,
it.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Steve.
All
Great
right.
to be here.
All right. See y'all.